Remember when we said that this would never end? Well, here we are. As being reported in Oregon, OHA, Oregon, which is the Oregon Health Authority, worked with stakeholders like those in the Restaurant Industry Business Association to discuss making the current indoor mask mandate permanent, it says, as reported. And there's a video here of them talking about it. But let's listen to what it actually means, and we'll continue to read a little further.
Permanent, that might scare a lot of people. They might think, oh my gosh, are we going to be masking for forever? What does a permanent ruling do? Why not just extend the temporary rule?
Permanent means indefinitely. It doesn't necessarily mean permanent. We could repeal it as well.
Permanent doesn't mean permanent. It just means indefinitely, which means permanent, which means when we feel like it, which could be never. Come on now, give it the fucking program.
But we are only allowed to have a temporary rule for 180 days. And if anything that goes beyond 180 days, we cannot extend it temporarily. It's either, adopt it formally or let it go.
Permanent.
So what happens is, I guess according to whatever rules that Oregon has, they do these temporary executive orders and all this stuff that they mention. They can only do that for 180 days. And after 180 days, well, it seems like they have to make it a policy or something like that. So the policy is, okay, we're just going to have this exist indefinitely. And as mentioned, this RAC, what does it do? From the OHA, the purpose of the RAC meeting is to seek input from committee members on the rules, including projected burden and fiscal impact of those rules suggested for alternative language. And again, for those who missed it, she says, Genevieve Raume, where's she of? She's of, KATU News. If this becomes a formal rule, it's technically a permanent rule, but it can be repealed. And stakeholders did bring up today how having an end date may be good. There is so much discussion to have before any rule is adopted. And even more on the repealing. Another part of the RAC meeting today was discussion about making parts of the rules easily repealable as COVID situation improves, which is when we feel like it. Again, for the sake of my mention notification, let's not all freak out. It isn't a rule yet. Well, that doesn't mean there isn't a reason to freak out. The fact that there's even government agencies cocky enough to try to mask people indefinitely, which just means when we feel like stopping this, we'll stop it, which could be never. Yeah, people should question and people should have and will have concerns. But I think what this shows, and now Oregon gonna Oregon, you know what I'm saying? But this is what it more so shows to me, is that a lot of these public officials, health experts as they are deemed, who are often unelected, which doesn't mean anything, but you get what it is that I'm saying. They're a crony. If it's up to them, we'll never get the fuck out of this. We just never will. Let them have a say in it. This will never stop. Okay? It'll never stop. It'll never quit. The can gets kicked down the road. The post continues to move. And a lot of folks have a lot to gain from this. And I think what this allows them to do, if anything, is really perpetuate their power structure and their useful like emergency and executive sort of rulings and orders that keep them in power, but also allow them to continue to do so. If they can hype this up and keep people at a state to where they think this shit is apocalyptic, which it never was, then they could justify anything that they do to you by saying, well, this is, of course, it's about the health of the people. And this is why it won't stop. They have no reason to stop. What reason do they have to stop? You're showing them that you're going to continue to let them do it. So what reason do they have to stop? These people are cocky. They're saying, look, we're going to implement this shit indefinitely. Because you ain't going to do shit about it. Your founders went to war for less, as I always say. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.